Hello, friends. Today I want to talk to you about this concept that has been swirling around in my mind for basically this whole year. And the concept is about unlearning things that you learned or things that you observed as a child that are not serving you in this, wherever you are in this space of your life. So for me, one of the things that I observed, I won't say that I learned it because I don't want to make it seem like this behavior was intentionally taught to me. So I will say I observed it and I absorbed it because I think the people in my life always did the best that they could with what they had. But one of the things that I observed and absorbed as a child and just, socially is the idea that women should basically just give and give and give and give. And I know that this is a really popular topic right now. If you are watching this in the future, just go back and read the news around the time that this is being posted, and you'll probably very quickly see things that are related to what I'm talking about now. But I observed the most giving and loving and caring women throughout my childhood, specifically in my life as my mother and my grandmother and one of my aunts. My other aunt, I'm sure she's delightful, but I did not spend a lot of my childhood with her. She's a very good person, but just as a disclaimer, in case any of them watch this, but I grew up with one of my aunts, my close aunts. And when I say these women gave and gave and gave and gave to the point where that's almost all that I saw them do. I have very few memories of even my mom doing like minor things for herself. I don't have like very many memories of my grandmother doing things that was for herself, my aunt doing things that were for her, just for her. And I think that, I know that it is time, whether you're a woman or not, but just especially if you're a woman, and I guess even more especially if you are a Black woman, a Black American woman specifically, that is my experience, that's what I'm talking about. It is time to start examining that behavior and start thinking about like, okay, where did this come from? And if you don't know where it came from, it could be a very obvious answer, like the answers that I just shared with you. But more maybe importantly than thinking about where it came from is thinking about examining, journaling, just giving real honest thought about how it is affecting you. And for me, this idea has manifested in different ways throughout my life. But this year, for some reason, and it's not just related to the election, it's not like even remotely related to the U.S. election results. This has been a theme in my life this entire year. It's kind of like the universe just put it on my heart to be aware of this, and then presented me with lots of opportunities to get deeper into my own thoughts and my own awareness so that I can start to see how this behavior has negatively affected my life. And this year has been a really unfortunate year in a lot of ways because the universe, life, whatever you want to call it, has presented me with so many really blatant situations, I guess I can call them, where I have been shown that my behavior of being a giving person, an understanding person, has not only not been reciprocated, but that behavior has also been taken advantage of. And so now I am left with feeling like, who cares about me? And over the past, I will say maybe 8 weeks or so, I have sat with that question. And the answer has been really saddening and disheartening. I've been dealing with a lot of just feeling played. What is a better word than that? Like, there is a better word than that. But like, not played by life, but just like really disappointed, really sad, really like, what the F kind of feeling. I don't know. I should have used the dictionary to get a better word. But just this feeling of like, what about me? So the good part of this is, first, I have become more aware of this, and I have started to change my behavior. You guys, there off camera, I am looking at a squirrel. I'm at a park. As you can tell, I'm not at my house. I am sorry to get distracted. There is a squirrel. Thank you, universe, for this beautiful moment. There is a squirrel that, hold on, let me see if I can just show you. Can you see this little squirrel? This is my mind right now. That little squirrel that has just run away over there in the distance, he came and like jumped on this branch, fell off, jumped up again, and went and laid flat-bellied on that one. And that was very sweet. Okay, I'm back. My apologies. I swear, you go outside, you're feeling bad. If you go outside in nature, there will likely be something outside to cheer you up. And I don't remember what I was saying because the squirrel was so gosh darn cute. Okay, but anyway, I literally do not remember what I was saying. I was so distracted. Anyway, I do want to encourage anyone who is going through this situation. You clicked on this video and you were like, oh, finally somebody's going to talk about what I am feeling. I want you to know that you are absolutely not alone. And it is time for you to start thinking. If you think about it, it'll start to manifest in your life. So for me, the first thing that started to happen to me was, like I said, like God, the universe, I was just like, I kept getting presented with this thought of, what about me? What about me? What about me? And that is not a question that I can honestly say that I have asked a lot in my life, because I grew up seeing these really amazingly loving, caring women, especially my mother. Oh my God, my mom is like the most caring person. I always joke that if it wasn't for my mom, I would be like some total Bond villain, like with no remorse, right? But because of her influence and seeing her, I think I turned out to be a pretty good person. And I owe that almost exclusively to my mother. It is maybe not that much in my nature. That was definitely the nurturing part that I received. But if you're feeling like this, start asking yourself this question: what about me? At least once a day. As you start to ask that question, it'll probably start to naturally come up, and the thought will start to manifest in your physical reality because your behavior will start to change. I have noticed that since I have started to ask this question, what about me? I have started to do big things and little things that reflect more of what I need. I have started to become more in tune to what I need, what I am going through, and starting to remove my focus and my lens away from what can I do to help other people. I'm not saying I no longer help other people because I really actually do, but I now think about, okay, will helping this person lead to some type of detrimental feeling or experience for me? I'll give you an example. So I sometimes I watch videos like this and I'm like, can you give me an example? So I'll give you a couple examples. So recently a former colleague reached out and was like, hey, will you help my kid with this writing project? And immediately I felt like, oh, burden. Like that was the word that came to me. That this was something that I did not want to do, that I didn't have a lot of time to do, but I also just did not want to do it. And as a sidebar, sometimes if you just don't want to, that's okay. That's enough of a reason to not do things because you don't want to, especially if you're an adult. If you're a kid and you need to like get in line or do your homework, you don't want to, like, please go do your homework. But do you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so I sat with it. I sat with that feeling. I did not reply right away. And I sat with that feeling and I thought, okay, this is an opportunity for me to say, this is not what I want to do. And like, just let it be okay. So I did that. And that was great. I was able to offer assistance in another way. So sometimes if you still feel guilty, you can be like, well, I can't do this, but here are some resources to help you get whatever this thing is that you need done. There you go. So that's one example. Another example is at work. I basically asked my team for like how to solve a problem. And one of the people that replied back, she was kind of rude. She's always rude. But I was like, whatever. I don't get paid to also care about you being rude. And a couple of days later, she messaged me and she wanted to talk to me about something. I get on the call and it turns out that our manager thought she was too rude and had instructed her basically to apologize to me. And as she's talking, I was like, okay, how do I feel about this? What am I like deep down? How do I feel about this? And so instead of going overboard to tell her, well, that's okay, I understand, because that's not what I really wanted to do. I thought about like, what about me? What about how I felt when you were rude? What about how I'm feeling like about this right now, that this seems performative, that somebody else told you to apologize to me for you being an asshole? What is this? So I did not give her that like pass. I think people sometimes seek when they've done something effed up to you and they try to come back and apologize. I just said, okay, well, I've heard what you've said, and hopefully in the future, things will be better. There you go. You don't get oh, I understand. Everybody has a hard day. No. I took some time and I thought, like, I don't like how this is going down. I don't even like being involved with this. So that's, I wasn't rude back to her, but I did take into account how I felt. when I talked to her about this situation. And that felt good. That felt much better than just saying, oh, I understand, you know, blah, 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 because you're at work. Get over yourself. Get yourself together. Get some professionalism in your life, please. Okay, let me think of another example, because right now I have so many. Like, I've been on a really great, good feeling, like low-key rampage. Just like, no, I don't want to do it. And it's great. But it all came from me starting to think about this question. What about me? What about me? I cannot readily think of another example. I have so many. And this video is getting long anyway, but I just want you to encourage, I would just want to encourage you to start doing that. I wanted to make this video because, like, on TikTok, I'm seeing people talking about, like, oh, you know, we're taking back our energy, we're taking back our time. But that is, I also wanted to build upon that and share, like, some ways that you can start to do that. Because if you grew up seeing people who gave and gave and gave over and over and over again to people, situations, jobs that did not reciprocate, did not care about them, did not return any energy, did not return the same amount of energy. If you grew up seeing that, it can be really hard to even know where to start. Where do you start with you know, trying to take back your energy? Especially, like, okay, you have a 9-to-5 job and you're required to interact with stupid people. How do you go about doing that and dealing with that? So I hope my examples kind of, like, gave you a little bit of something to think about. So, one, start just asking every day, what about me? Your mind and your heart, your soul will automatically start to kind of highlight things in your life that don't feel good, that maybe you've repressed how you feel about it. You'll automatically, once you start asking, your mind will start directing you to where to pay attention to. Then from there, in those situations, like for me with my job, you don't have to be rude, but your mind will start to help you see, like, okay, this is how you really feel about this. This is like the hurt and the disdain or whatever that you have about this. So engage with it in a different way until you don't have to engage with it anymore. People in your life asking you to do stuff. People ask me to do stuff all the time. Stop asking me to do things. People ask me to do things all the time. And then also, because in my mind, this is how I'm supposed to act, I volunteer my time and my energy to other people who don't reciprocate. Stop doing that. How do you stop doing that? You start asking yourself this question, what about me? And then your behavior will follow as you're asking yourself the questions. It's actually kind of simple. All you got to start with is, what about me? What about me? That's amazing. It's amazing. It's going to be amazing for you, because I have started to practice asking myself, what about me? That also influences the number one thing that I can influence, which is my own behavior. Stop reaching out to people who don't give a shit about what's going on with you, who don't reach out to you. How did I even get to that realization that that's okay to do? I started asking, what about me? How does it make me feel that, oh my God, I am the person who reaches out all the time, or I am the person who is like doing the things, the friendship things to hold friendships together. By the end of this year, I might have one friend left. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you like, oh, that's okay, because actually it's not. It's actually very hurtful. It makes me really, really deeply sad. But I know that unless I stop participating in things that do not serve me, that don't care about me, situations that don't serve me, situations that don't care about me, until I stop spending energy in those areas, I will never have the energy or the time or the heart space to go out and make friends that will reciprocate, or get a job where I don't have to work with people who suck or whatever, whatever the situation is. We have really finite amounts of energy. And as you get older, you might understand, or you might experience that you don't have as much as you did when you were younger. You don't have as much energy, so be careful with it. Okay, I don't want to ramble. I feel like I could talk about this for 30 more minutes, but I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that if you do nothing else, just start asking yourself every day, once a day, just to get you started. Your mind will take off and do the rest. But just to get you started, ask yourself every day, what about me? Okay, please subscribe, like, and maybe, like most of all, comment. So I want to know, like, what's going on with you. Have you experienced this? Are you thinking about this? Are you feeling this? All right. I think that I will go find some more squirrels. Until next time, namaste.